Welcome to the Scoop on Blogging podcast. I am your host, Xaviera, and I am very excited to have a special guest with me here today, Mr. Michael Fanning, best known in the internet streets as Hey Mikey. So welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Part of my appearance, I'm kind of covering a little bit from a chemical peel. So,
Oh, okay. 2021, getting a chemical peel and things.
listen, trying to, girl. I'm trying to keep this skin together. 37 is next month, and I'm trying to be as youthful as I can.
I heard that. I'm not mad at that at all, but
I'm
I
my boo.
definitely appreciate you being a guest on the show today. The Scoop on Blogging podcast is all about enlightening and encouraging and inspiring other content creators and teaching them ways to launch and sustain a successful online business. And I thought that you would be a perfect guest for the show.
Thank you.
For those who don't know, Mikey is one of my longtime media friends. He's one of my
Yes,
media brothers. And
it's
we
like my
met.
medium sister. Yes.
Yes, we met many moons ago in these internet streets. And so I'm just very excited to have you on the show today and to introduce you to our Scoop on Blogging audience. So, Mikey, where are you originally from?
I'm actually originally from here, downtown Atlanta. Like
So
I
you
was born
an
in
ATL
Atlanta.
baby?
I'm a serious ATLian. You don't get more ATLian than me.
Wow. Were you won the Grady baby now?
No, my parents had insurance. I was born at Atlanta Medical, and then it was called Georgia
Um,
Baptist.
I'm gonna hurt you. You said my parents had insurance. Because most people are like, I'm a Grady baby. But I never thought about it in that sense. Like, oh, wait. Yeah, they deal with the
hmm
uninsured. I never even thought about that. All right.
Yeah,
So thank you for clearing. All right. So I see what type of energy you are on today. So it is going to be fun.
girl,
So
that's
you are
how
originally from Atlanta. So tell me how you ended up becoming a blogger.
Well, pretty much. I was working for Kontrol magazine, and they were trying to like get more people to blog on their website. And at first, I was like, no, I want to blog. I want to do this. But then, they start requiring that if you're gonna be an editor, that you need to be doing this many blogs every day. I got trained on how to blog, and so I started doing it. And I realized like it was cathartic for me because I already like to write. So when I started finding out I liked a lot about celebrity news and gossip and current events and lifestyle stuff, I was just like, okay, well, this is a real big chance for me to have my own voice. So like I said, I was continuously writing for Kontrol magazine, and then my friend Venus Miller at the time, Venus Miller Austin, I should say. She's married now.
Okay.
Um, she had it was called Pink Lipstick. She had a fashion blog, and she said, honestly, she said, you have such a voice and you write so well. Why don't you start your own blog? And I was like, well, nobody's gonna pay me any attention. Nobody cares. I'm just Mike. You know what I mean? She was like,
Yeah.
you got to find a niche that works for you, and start from there. So, I formed a little website. It was all a one page, simple blog, and I started off giving like advice about different stuff. And I actually caught on because people started hitting me up, asking my opinion about different things. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, let me do that. So I use my real life experience because I feel like my life is a comic book, soap opera, and crime drama all mixed into one. And I was actually able to help a few people, but my following wasn't where I wanted to be. So I talked to my friend / boss at the time, Julian Lark. He's like, Mike,
Yes.
he said, you got to give the people a little mess with the sugar. He said, so go ahead and write some celebrity news, write some celebrity gossip. And once I started doing that, it started going up and up and up. And then I started writing about independent projects, like indie stuff, like web series, some LGBT stuff that was going on in the community. And it caught on from there. And now it's spinned off into, still working with Kontrol, but as an executive
Right.
editor now. Um, my website gets almost 1 million clicks every year. And I have a radio show. I have
Yes.
books and stuff coming out. I'm a producer on a web reality series called Web Life, and
Okay.
it's just been spinning on and on and on. I'm just looking forward to what the next chapter of my life brings.
Well, since you didn't even give me a chance to introduce nothing else you had going on, you just handled
Okay.
everything. All right. So
Girl,
thank you so much for coming through, Mikey. So have a great day. We appreciate you.
y'all
We
really
love
like
you.
that.
Bye bye.
Y'all really like that. I'm like,
Mikey
no,
was like, listen, I'm about to plug this stuff right here because you be playing, you be taking too long, you talk too slow, you just carry on. But no,
no such thing.
when did you realize that your blog could actually become a full-blown business?
I realized it can be a full blown business if I saw how much it climbed from one year to the next to the next. The first 3 years, it was increasing dramatically. And
Hmm.
then when mainstream companies started reaching out to me, Disney and Netflix and ABC and NBC and CBS and stuff, and I was just like,
Yes.
oh. And then I had other people reaching out to me, hey, Mike, I got this product that I got coming out. how much should you charge me to do this, do that? So, I had to do a little research, based on my social media following and stuff. I had to find out, like, how much I should reasonably charge people, and I went from there, and it's gone up since then considerably. I think when I first
Yes.
started blogging, I had like 300 something followers, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. And so now it's like 30,000 on one page and it's 17 on another. So
Yeah. So let me talk to you about, let's talk about monetization, because for
Mhm.
people who are just starting out blogging and they've launched their blog and they're putting up their content and they're, fighting and doing whatever they have to do to get readers, now that you have an audience and your site is set up, how did you go about monetizing? But I feel like you kind of had a foot up because of your experience with Control Magazine and having
Right.
such a
I was
prominent role with them. But what advice would you give to another blogger who may not have had the opportunity to come in, to and actually get that skill set or get that knowledge under a different brand, but they're just starting out on their own? How would you talk to them, or what advice would you give them as far as monetizing their content?
I would say they need to first know who they're going to market to, where their niche is. Like, that's very important. Once you have a target, you can get closer to a bullseye. If you shoot
Yes.
everywhere, it's just blindly shooting, and your arrows are landing wherever they may, and you might not be getting anything that you want at all. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, like doing the research. Like I said, I had a small following, so I had to know how much to reasonably price somebody. If I only got 2, maybe 3,000 followers, I can't reasonably price somebody $500 or $600 to post anything on my page, because only maybe 2 to 10% of the people are actually going to see that, based on how these algorithms work against us nowadays.
Yes.
So I had to think about that. You know what I mean? So research, find out what's reasonably priced, and also know your value and your worth. If you set a specific price based on what you know your value and your worth is, don't let anybody talk you down from that.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not the person for you to work with, because the right person is going to pay you what you're owed and what you are valued at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you for sharing that, because monetization, I think for a lot of people in the content creation space, is like, that's the biggest goal. Everybody wants to get to the money. They want to get where the money resides. But a lot of times it's like, how do they go about it? And how do they, when do they know that they're ready to try to monetize? Because the last thing you want to do is try to monetize too early. And a lot of the ad partners and programs and things of that nature will turn you down because you're just not quite there yet. So with that being said, we start out Kontrol Magazine, then we launch HeyMikey.com, HeyMikeyATL.com.
Yes.
So, and then from HeyMikeyATL.com, we end up with a radio show. Now,
Right.
I absolutely love your radio show. I have had the pleasure of being a guest on your radio show.
You gotta
And
come back.
listen, you gave me the bug to want to start doing my podcast again.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I definitely appreciate it. So let's talk about the Hey Mikey show.
So the Hey Mikey Show, this is kind of like in its fourth iteration right now. I kind of had to find the right co-host to do my show along with me, and I think I found them in my good friend K Star, who's a rapper, and another good friend, Imani Van Zant. She's like a drag personality. She's kind of like
Cool.
Iyanla Van Zant, but for the LGBTQ.
Okay, so when I saw that name, I was like, is that a play on Ayanla Van Zandt, or is that really her name? Okay, but carry on.
Right. So she's doing the Lord's work for the children, I should say.
Yes.
The kids, not DVs, as they like to say down here. So the three of us, we do celebrity news, gossip, hot topics, things that might be
Okay.
some news topics that might be relevant for the LGBT community down here. We also do advice. Like Imani has a good segment called, where she's gonna help you fix your shit. And she does. She does really good advice about that. Like I said, Carl does something called the Gaily News, and that's pretty much where he talks about stuff that's centered around, LGBT people, whether it's positive or negative. It's all of us, black, white, gay, straight, blue, yellow, purple, rainbow. So he does that. And then for me, I bring the hot topics, celebrity news, gossip, and we interview like a lot of different, celebrities, pseudo celebrities, socialites, and up and coming people that I feel like are interesting. With this iteration of the show, I've been very strategic about who I have on and how I move, because now I'm ready to move on to the next level, and I want to make this as mainstream as I possibly can. We're currently on 2 radio stations, iHeartRadio.
Yes, where can people listen?
Yeah, you guys can tune in on iHeartRadio and on WTT Radio as well. You can get on your Apple, it's on all platforms.
All the DSPs. Got it. Got
Yes.
it. So let's talk now. The radio show, you have a successful online outlet. You have this wonderful radio show. And now
Mhm.
you are producing web series. So let's talk about web life.
Yes, let's talk about web life. Let's see. Um, web life has been it continues to be an experience. It's the first
Okay.
project that I ever like created. I came up with the concept
Okay.
for it. And what I wanted to do is a lot of times I was blogging about web series related actors and actresses. I ended up
Hmm.
befriending quite a few of them, and it kind of made a name for myself in the web acting community. And so I always wondered what would happen if I got a few of them together, to do a show. Like how would they interact? How would they move? So I got some of the people I was pretty situation,
Hmm.
good and ill. That's the thing about reality TV. Everything is not positive. Everything's not negative. But I
Okay.
wanted
Uh-oh, you're breaking up very bad. You're breaking up really bad. Okay, hello. There you are. Yeah,
yeah,
you were breaking up. You were breaking up something terrible. I was just being patient. I was like, he'll be back eventually.
yeah. I was like, what is going on? But anyway, like I said,
Yeah. You may have to go back because
got you.
honestly, I probably didn't hear anything after you got everyone together. So just
Okay.
start from the beginning and tell me about web life.
Okay, so with Web Life is it's a web series based
Mm-hmm.
off of a connection between web series actors. Most of them happen to be LGBT, and pretty much what it shows, like when we get together, us as creatives, trying to move together as a collective, but everybody does different things, and everybody makes a living a different way, and everybody doesn't always agree with said living. Some of us are very close friends, some of us are not, some of us, are married, some of us are not, but what it shows is pretty much that everybody's working. Everybody's trying to make their way the best they can, and it's going to be some conflict along the way.
It's funny because anytime that you're mixing a bunch of different personalities and then you're wearing the producer hat as well, what has been the most challenging part about putting a web series together?
Well, for me, I'm a cast member and I'm also a producer behind the scenes.
Hmm.
I actually casted the show, and for me, it's just been having to be double blinded. I can't know everything because I'm a cast member, but I, being behind the scenes, having to make certain things happen,
Yeah,
events, trying to assist the best I can with a storyline, and making stuff flow. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like it really gets to it. Like I really want to make sure I do my part. I'm not the only producer. We have Antar Bush. She's also a producer. We also have Robert Graves. Each one of the three of us does a different thing. I myself focus primarily on casting and media and PR. That's
Okay.
the Antar does the
Yeah.
filmmaking and editing, and Robert is the creative director.
So, where can people watch, Web Life and how can they support the show?
So Web Life, you can watch it on Outpour Media Productions on YouTube.
Okay.
Web Life is WEBLYFE. Just
Mm-hmm.
type in Web Life Atlanta and it will come right up. So make sure y'all
Okay.
subscribe. Some of the stories on there, oh, it's a lot. You even see a situation where I passed out. So
Oh, Lord, Mike, you done fell out on him.
I fell out. And my own event girl. Just you gotta see what happened.
Yes. Okay. So let's get back to the blogging side of things.
Let's do
In addition to you being a blogger and, the editor over at Control Magazine, you are one of Atlanta's most notable members of media. And that is how we ran into each other and how we connected and we became friends. So let's talk a little bit about being in media.
right.
For the content creator or for the blogger who wants to eventually start hitting red carpets and having opportunities to interview some of the biggest names in entertainment. What advice would you give them as far as, how to get themselves out there in order to be able to hit those carpets and do those interviews?
You need to network, and make genuine connections with people. Learn how to barter your skills. Hey, I know how to use the camera, or I know how to use such and such, or maybe I can write something for you. You can allow maybe plus one at your event. If you know there's a bigger blogger out there, bigger than you, that's already doing what you're doing, see if you can work up on them, like intern or
Yeah,
shadow for a little while, because eventually
absolutely.
their connections can become your connections because you
Mm-hmm.
help them. And when it's time for you to branch off, y'all are interrelated. You know what I mean? Y'all are tossing work back and forth at each other. That's what I had to do, but I had the blanket of control to go up under. So once they saw that I was writing my own stuff, I said, hey, well, I'm starting my own site. I want to do such and such. I want to talk to Julian. I said, hey, whatever I write for myself, I want to be able to post on Control too. Is that fine? He was very supportive because I was
Right.
supporting him, he was supporting me, and now, hey, Mikey ATL has his own name and its own right. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
you have to be willing to help somebody else to get where you want to be at. Don't think you can do it
Absolutely.
by yourself. Don't think you know everything. Come into the situation with your glass empty, ready to learn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Mikey, you have interviewed some of the biggest names in entertainment and
Yeah.
movies and television and so on and so
That's
forth.
so much fun.
Tell me about the most. Okay, I have a few questions.
Go
So,
ahead.
tell me about your most favorite interview, like that one that just sits on your heart, and to as long as you is black and you is alive, you will tell people that you interviewed this person.
Tony Braxton.
Tony
Coincidentally, that
Braxton.
was my first, Tony Braxton. That was my first celebrity interview after graduating from college and
Yes.
joining Control. And it's still by far my favorite. She is an angel. She is so charismatic. She is so sweet and kind, and she's such a professional. Such a professional.
Wow.
And I
Okay.
love it. And I got to meet her face to face, and I was just like, here I am,
Yes.
growing up, hearing this woman saying, "Unbreak my heart." You know what I mean? Was a man enough for me? Um, I love it. I was mesmerized, but I was able to do my job at the same time. So I'm always like, Tony Braxton is like she's number one for me right now.
You know what's really funny about us being in media? It's that moment where we have to check that starstruck. Because that starstruck will slide up on your behind and you have to try to check that thing and still try to
Yes,
remain
that's how I
professional.
felt like when I met
Lord.
able to right when I met Ava DuVernay, I was just like, oh my god.
Yes, Ava
I was
DuVernay.
so Star Trek. She was everything.
That was such a great night, wasn't it?
It
Mm.
was, and she looked at me and she said, "Oh my goodness!" She said, "I love your hair. You're so handsome." I was like, "For real?" Like, oh my, like,
He was like, bury me a G, I'm out.
that's what I said. I was like, man, I said, oh my God. Somebody was like, what is it like being around Eva DuVernay? I said, oh, Eva DuVernay is life. She looks
She
like life,
is.
she smells like life, and she walks with life. And
Mm.
it's a power that she has about her.
It is. It is.
That she
It's a
just really
power.
want to
It's a confidence. It's almost like she got a ring light from Jesus that just shine on her as she's walking through rooms. It is. It's something truly beautiful to see. I love me some Ava DuVernay. I will.
yeah,
Yeah, she's one of my memorable people from, and
yeah.
that was last year that we met her, right? Last year
Last year,
before the panty hit.
before the penny hit. And I was
What?
like, oh, this is dope. It's only going to be up for the rest of this year. Next thing I know,
Okay, because yes, I walked out of there like, oh, this what we do in 2020? Okay,
right.
2020.
I'm
And
with it.
then, yeah, we wasn't doing it in 2020. We wasn't doing it in
No, y'all
2020.
got y'all behind at home. I ain't got time for y'all.
Yes. All right. So, if you don't mind telling me your most challenging interview and why.
My most challenging interview actually was with Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. It was my shortest interview I did too, and it was the worst one. And I would never want to interview her again for any reason whatsoever. She came to a radio station. She was very rude. She was very dismissive. She was very short. I was I for one was happy to see her because like I was watching Love
Yeah.
and Hip Hop at the
Yeah.
time. It's like Carly's cool. She's so pretty, and she seems like she might be fine. And the moment I saw her, she was stepping, out the car, and I was like, she was like, first thing she did is I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna be transparent. She hit my DM and she was like, who are you and who have you interviewed? Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? I immediately hit her publicist, told her publicist what she was doing. Her publicist was like, no, I'm gonna talk to her about that because she's completely aligned. You're more than qualified to interview her. I'll take care of that. And so when she got to the station,
She was already mad because you had snitched on her.
I don't know what it was, but she was mad. We told her, say, yeah, we just had, I think his name was Snoop. Snoop here, I think it's something. There was a guy that she used to talk to on there or something. But he was there the week before and was like, yeah, we just had him on there. And she's like, yeah, I'm sure you did. And I just went through the talking points as quickly as I could, kept it professional. Once it came time for a commercial break, I told her she could go. I said, well, we're done. It's wonderful having you here. I didn't even want to take pictures with her. Our station manager felt disrespected by her. And it's just like, I was like, what is it?
Wow.
Like
Wow.
I've interviewed some A-list celebrities and like Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us,
Exactly.
Jada Pinkett Smith. When I got to meet Queen Latifah, when I got to meet Monique, and I've met some really, really dope, really, really big people. And no disrespect,
Wow.
you coming from that level, and you was just like nasty and rude, and I'm just like,
Wow.
it was really disheartening.
I can
Really disheartening.
imagine. I can
I was
imagine. I
like,
can
okay,
imagine.
well, you're not one of my favorite people anymore, so yeah.
So back to let's stay in the vein of media and you interviewing.
Yeah.
What is your secret sauce to doing a great interview?
My secret sauce in a great interview is pretty much having a general conversation with them. Like, don't go into it treating like an interview. Just have a conversation with them, and you'll be able to slide in the questions that you want. Always start off with simpler, easy questions. Do not go into it with stuff that's controversial from the jump. They're gonna shut down. They're not gonna do the
Yes.
interview. Like, you really have to ease that in, especially if it's a hot topic the industry they don't want to talk about. And the thing about it is, you can find that there'll be some hot topics they don't want to talk about because you converse with them so easily and you've alluded to something else. They're going to tell you everything that you wanted to hear.
Oh, I
Even
love
if you
that.
want to talk about that.
Yes. Yes, I love that, especially when you don't ask them and they're waiting for it. They're waiting for you to ask and then you don't. And they're like, well, child, let me tell you about. Oh, okay, go ahead. Because now
Right.
that's on you. That's not on me.
Right. It baits and switches. It's on you, not on me. I did everything I told you I was going to do. And if you decide to answer that, then that's on you. And that's just what it is.
Absolutely. Wow. Wow. So, it's funny because when I talk to people about being in media, especially Atlanta media can be a very unique place.
Agreed.
You see, I use the word unique.
Yeah.
Atlanta media can be a very unique place. You have some media people who want to connect and build. You have some media people who are standoffish. You have some media people who just don't want anything to do with you because they feel like your elevation will contribute to their de-escalation. As a member of media, especially being African American, how do you handle, just being in that network of media and running into all different types of people in that spectrum?
So for me, I'm usually able to find a common ground with them. Even the ones that are snooty and standoffish. I'll tell them, hey, I love your website. I know you wrote this article such and such on this date, and I thought that was really, really cool. Because the thing about me, when I went into media and things, I researched everybody around me. I wanted to know what they did. I wanted to know how they do it. Like, I even knew who you were. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, oh yeah. I didn't know. I didn't know how to pronounce your name though. But I
Okay, no one does, but it's okay.
like, oh, it's ice cream combos girl. And Julian was like,
Yeah.
Michael, her name is Zaviera. I was like, Zaviera. I was like, okay, got
Yeah.
it, got it. So, but I knew because I was like, no, I've been on your site before. I would see stories that you wrote because that would let me know what kind of stories I need to be doing. When I see these bigger bloggers writing about this kind of stuff, I need to be writing about it too because this is clearly what our audiences are not too different. They want
Right.
to hear about this as well, so let me do that. And so that's what I did. So I haven't really ran into one that's too standoffish or snooty. Even the ones that don't necessarily want to help me get to a next level, they'll at least acknowledge me and probably shoot me something that they might not want to go to, whether they're going to. And I get into it, I'll be like, oh yeah, I thought such and such should be here. I was like, yeah, she didn't RSVP. I'm like, well, I'm here. I'm happy. So such and such said, oh, well, great. Let me put you on the list. You'll be on all that stuff moving forward. So I guess that's their
Right.
way of helping, but not helping at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you in the door. It's up to you for the rest. And I'm okay with that.
What do you enjoy most about being, a content creator or a member of media? What do you enjoy most about it?
So ever since I was a little boy, I've always wanted to know everything there is to know about everything. I'm some people's drug of choice is liquor or weed. Mine has always been knowledge. And so for me, media, I get to know so much, so much. I remember I generally prayed a prayer not too many years ago, where I said, Lord, let me know everything that I need to know about every single person around me, anybody that I would ever interact with. Give me grand wisdom. Now with that prayer,
Right.
it's it's good and it's bad sometimes, because I mean
Yes,
I
it
found
is.
out about people that I necessarily didn't want to know, and I'm shocked to find out about. But in other ways, I found out stuff that I really need to know about people. So let me approach them differently and offer them a little bit of mercy. But media fixes my itch for knowledge, because I always learning something, always found out something new. So that's why I love doing it.
So, talk to me about that moment that you officially knew you had made it. Because it's always that moment, either something happens, something is said, something just works out. Like, what was that moment for you when you were like, oh, yeah, I'm official. I made it. I'm official.
You know what? For me, I'm very hard on myself. I don't feel like I've reached that moment yet.
Really?
I
I,
don't feel like I've reached that moment yet.
okay.
It's just so much that I want to do and so much that I still want to be, that I think I'll know I'll reach that moment when, how can I
You're a
say
goalpost
this?
pusher. That's what
I am.
because I'm a
I'm not
goal,
quite so
I'm a
far, but
goalpost pusher too. Yeah,
yeah,
you're a goalpost pusher, and that's not a bad thing. But
yeah,
and it's a good thing, that you're constantly pushing the goalpost back, because now you're continually striving, and you won't get lazy or complacent or things of that nature. But
right.
there has to be something that happened somewhere along the line that you were like, either like, I'm officially media, or I'm officially a blogger, or just something like a moment where you just felt like you were on a high.
When I did the interview with Ti,
I knew it was one. I knew it was something. You
I
try
think
to listen, that viral picture. See, what Mikey is failing to share with all of you is, after he did that interview with Ti, they snapped a picture together that happened to go viral. Mikey, would you like to tell the class why that photo went viral?
okay, the photo went viral because me and Ti took a picture together, and I guess he had on like some sweatpants or something, and his male member was seen through the pants. And so people went in about that. They were calling me, hitting me up, congratulating me, like, "Oh, congratulations back on the NBA with Ti," but you didn't know such a thing. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, I never would have
Yeah.
posted that, but like people was hitting me up, like different blogs picked up the picture and stuff like that. They were
I
telling
picked it up
me.
too.
And I remember the Shade Room reached out to me, but like I, I didn't see that message until like days later, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is my chance to be on the Shade Room," and I missed it. Like, so I was like, "Oh, I hope I get to be on there again one day." You know what I mean? But like, I just didn't want no problems. I was like, "Man, I don't want Ti pulling up trying to kill me or nothing like that," because I know he's from Mechanicsville.
T, I be like, hey partner, hey
You know,
partner.
like
Yeah.
I was like, man, I was like, okay, well, this was really really dope. And also when Netflix, put me on with them, so giving me to write and talk about, it just made me on a regular media list. I
Yes.
love that. I love that. I
Yes.
constantly get stuff from them.
See, I knew there were some moments you were over there trying to act all super humble and stuff. Like, Mikey, you got some moments where you just felt like, okay,
Well, you know what? I try not to get a big
okay,
head, and I'm like I said, I'm very hard on
yes.
myself. I'm very hard on myself. I try not to get a big head because as much stuff as I get to do, it's just some people and some things come along that kind of make you feel like you're a little less than, which is kind of some stuff I'm kind of dealing with when it comes to web life or whatnot. I feel like unless you're some pretty boy or some kind of clown and you're doing reality TV, people don't really pay attention to you, and your great work gets overlooked. Or I
Right.
had a cast member say that he doesn't that I'm not influential or whatnot. When in actuality, I put you on.
How about that?
I've given you multiple opportunities. You've gotten into doors being my plus one that you otherwise wouldn't get into. People that you
Right.
want to interview and meet and work for, I have lunch with. We're not, but
We're
I
not
don't.
the same.
But influential people don't have to talk about how influential they are. They just are,
Absolutely.
and that's
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. What do you think is the thing that draws your audience or connects your audience to you?
So with my audience, I found my audience is very smart. I found that they like the mixture of stuff that I give them, because I give them celebrity news, gossip, hot topics, current events, and I also give them social stuff that's important to me. Like really big on one of my social issues is body positivity when it comes to men. You know,
Yes.
we definitely got it for the big girls. It's a lot of female empowerment for plus size women, but you don't see it for the men.
No, you
The
don't.
problem, because people don't realize, but men have body image issues as well too. Like very much so. I'm actually a man who I used to be 390 pounds, And, I lost the weight and stuff like that. Most of it now down to like 226. But it was once upon a time I was even smaller than this. And the reason I was smaller is because I was bulimic. I was making myself throw up. I was
Wow.
comparing and contrasting myself to other people, and it was literally killing me.
Yeah.
And so, when I went to go get help for said situation, they put me in a therapy session where there was a bunch of teenage white girls. And I was like, I can't relate to anybody here. So this
Right.
was a bit of a case study because they had not seen that in a man, let alone a black man, let alone a black man in his late 20s, early 30s,
Right.
something like this. But then I came to find out it's a lot of guys who have similar issues to this.
Yes.
But they don't want to talk about it because it seems like, you need to toughen up. You need to, this is not that serious. It's not that bad. And what I had to learn is people have a bad habit of dismissing other people's problems. What you say is not so bad. That what's a whisper to you is a scream to somebody else. And you have no right to diminish their pain.
No.
You have no right to tell somebody.
Yeah, a lot of people just seem not to tap in if it doesn't impact them directly, and that's something that we need to get away from quickly.
Right. We got to. Look at how this country is right now. I mean, you think about it, it's always somebody else's problem until it's your turn. It was Senate. It was always just the regular person's problem until it's my turn. And now they're banging on the Capitol doors, they're breaking the glass and trying to jump in on you. And now you want to do something about it.
Now
what's the problem?
You know, I told my husband, I said, this feels like everyone who decides on the last day of school, now we're going to handle the bully. On the last day of school.
The last minute.
You have been terrorized for 4 semesters. But on the last day of school, that's when we'll handle it. So
that's not right, because then you can't get suspended or nothing like that, right?
Listen, let me tell you something. My school got ahead of the game. They was like, if y'all want to start whooping people's behind on the last day of school, we'll suspend you the first week of next year. So you could go ahead and enjoy your summer. But when everybody coming back in all their fresh school clothes, because everybody fly that first week, because that's all your school clothes. Your mama get you right for a week. Yeah, you get that first week. Then after the second week, you start trying to integrate your old stuff with your new stuff and mix and match. But you'll miss that first week stunt because they will suspend you the first week of school for the following year.
Like, no, we'll see you second week.
We'll see you the second week. You can go ahead and show out in that parking lot after school if you want to on the last day of school. But we will see you on the second week of the next school year. So
that is such a mess. It's such a mess. I completely understand.
Yeah. But, I do definitely appreciate what you're doing with as far as body positivity is concerned, because in addition to being a member of media and having your own show and having your own radio show and all of those things, like, you have influence. And, I don't know if you consider yourself an influencer, but technically you are an influencer because you're influencing people to change their mindset regarding an issue that isn't often talked about. And you have the bravery to get out there and talk about it and be very transparent with your own personal story. And, sometimes you get a little transparent with your body too. I'm scrolling through my feed like, oh Mikey.
I'm
like, Mikey.
And that's been like a source of contention recently between me and my son. He's 18. And I didn't know like stuff like that I was posting was like bothering him or getting to him like that. But I told him, I said, if you have to restrict me or unfollow me, I completely understand.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for somebody who needs to see that they're beautiful or whatnot, because it's a lot of people thrive off compliments. A lot of people have been told their whole life they're beautiful or they're attractive or whatnot. I'm not one of those people who's been told that his entire life, not even most of his life. And so for me, I knew that there's other people out there like me, and I need them to see that it's okay. And I also need the other people who have been told this, that you need to have some empathy. You have some compassion. And if there's an opportunity to be given, give this person an opportunity. Like I'm always room for the underdog. And people always tell me, I think you can go too far with that. You're not even what people consider necessarily fat or whatnot. You just thick or whatnot. I get messages every day, and I kid you not. I'm a tatted pig. I'm this, I'm that. Like, you gain weight, all this and all that. And that lets me know that there's an issue, there's a problem.
Yes. Absolutely.
That itself tells me there's an issue and a problem. Because if that's the only thing you can attack me about, you have the problem, I don't.
But not even that. The thing is, you're over the years, you're building. And I think for some of us, it's a continual process of trying to build tough skin. I don't have tough skin. I can get mad real nice and easy, but as far as just a tough skin or tough exterior, I don't have that. And for those of you who think I do, child, listen, I just don't. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I might tell you off, but then I'm gonna go find somewhere to cry. But I'm just not. So, for you, who a person who's a public figure, for you to receive that type of energy, and I as hard as we try, some things just penetrate whether or not we want them to,
They
right?
hurt.
But imagine the person who hasn't even reached the place where you are with it, to know the hate is going to come, or to know, like, to be able to push that stuff out. Everything that comes at them penetrates and hurts. Like,
Right.
imagine the impact on that person. So it's like you're right, we have to be more mindful of how our words, our judgments, our energy, how it affects other people.
I agree. I completely agree. And I always tell people, be accountable for your words because somewhere on this planet, you're a commoner. You're a commoner somewhere. Somewhere on this planet, you are not the finest thing walking. You're not the best thing
No.
walking. You might not even be considered attractive or worthy. But at the same time, I also want to create the world a better. How can I say this? My goal is to always leave the world better than I found it. I
Okay.
truly believe that the world don't change. People change it. People change it. And then at the same time, I really want people to have the opportunities they want based on their talent and not how they look. Because people are quick to say, well, that's just how it is, or sex sells. Okay, well, once upon a time, the way it was that me and you, people like me and you, could have to sit in the back of the bus. We couldn't read or write. We weren't allowed to do that. You weren't allowed to keep your kids. It was sold off from you. That's just how the way it was. Nobody ever thought it would be any different until somebody dared to say, hey, that's not right. Or why
Right.
don't we get us a chance? Or why don't we try this? Or why don't we just set them free so we can see such and such? So stop going along with the status quo, because the status quo is killing people every day.
Yeah, it is. It truly is.
Every day.
It truly is. And I definitely appreciate you just for using your platform to bring awareness to that, because a lot of times we get bogged down in whatever it is that we're working on or whatever, but I think it's because you're so closely tied to it. It's kind of just a natural thing for you to do. And just to allow yourself to be a voice for the voiceless, which is a beautiful thing, and I
Listen,
definitely
listen.
commend you for that.
If you consider yourself a Christian, God fearing, or even a good person, I always tell people, like I watched on Greenleaf when Grace Greenleaf said this, and I'll never forget it. One of the pastors told her, she said, there you go, always grabbing and complaining. She said, I wish you were this on fire for Jesus. And she said, Jesus is the underdog. And I want people to think about that. Jesus was the underdog. He was going up against the Holy Roman Empire and ruling Jews. He was truly the underdog. And not because he dared to be different and to think different and to move a different way. Christianity is what? The largest religion on the planet?
It is.
Billions of people are a part of it. He's touched billions of lives. No matter how you want to fix or say it, that's been the most influential human being in all of human history.
Yeah.
Jesus is the underdog. So for me, I feel like I'm doing God's work when I'm standing up for people who can't otherwise stand up for themselves. Or I'm rooting for that boy in the corner who nobody's going to pay attention to because he's a little overweight, or,
Right.
or his skin is a little cracked, or he might be missing a tooth or something like that. That's me, because I used to be that boy.
Wow. Well, look at you now, out here all finding things.
Trying to be, definitely
Trying
trying
to
to be,
be.
but
So
I won't
listen,
forget.
so we are in 2021, and my 2020 planner was just basically a paperweight. So here we are, 2021. The world is ever changing from what we've known and loved, and probably known and loved and wasn't necessarily the best for us. But, Uncle Joe getting ready to slide up in the White House.
Yes, Uncle Joe.
And we got the vaccines rolling through the streets. And
Mm.
so, what does 2021 look like for Michael Fanning? Like, what aspirations, goals, or at this point, just hopes for 2021? Because, at this point, we're operating in a space of uncertainty every single day. So, for 2021, what would you like to see for yourself? What would you like to see for your brand?
So for myself, I would love to see myself in love. It's been quite some time, and I don't think I've ever like been in love before. Like, because for me, love, you have to be loved to love and be loved in return. So I've always been in a situation of unrequited love where I felt for somebody and they didn't quite feel for me. So I'm putting that in the universe. I'm going to be in a happy, healthy relationship before 2021 ends. I'm putting that out there. For me personally, I'm definitely making more money. A lot more.
You want to be where the money resides.
Listen.
And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Listen, y'all gonna be so tired of me saying that because I just absolutely love it. Like, he summed up my whole financial plan. He hopped out of the trunk of a car and summed up my whole financial plan. Can't be mad. It is what it is.
Things. Increasing the money, and having love. So those two things, definitely those two things. Now, for my brand, evolution. To spread out even more, I want to make my radio show extremely mainstream. We are better than the Breakfast Club, and I want the world to know that. I also want to get my authoring on. I have 4 books that'll be coming out shortly.
Wow.
2 of them might be coming out at the end of the month. No, 2 of them will be out at the end of the month.
Wow, that soon? I'm excited.
Yes, and I think you'll like one of them.
You ain't tell nobody.
Yeah, 2 of them are coming out at the end of the month. Hey Mikey ATL it's not just Atlanta anymore. So I'll be changing the name of that. It'll be going from Hey Mikey ATL to Hey Mikey Global. So y'all
wait. Is this an exclusive?
Yes, you're the first person. Yes, this is gonna be Hey Mikey Global, completely changing that.
Okay.
I'm doing stuff all over the world. Actually hiring like some writers and bloggers and stuff, looking for interns. So if you interested, you know somebody that's interested, let me know. Because I want to have every major city in the United States, if somebody from each one of them writing on the site and me sending them to different events and stuff. So I'm going to on notification about that. And then maybe do another season of Web Life too. But I think this one, I want to probably be a little bit more behind the scenes. You know, there's some things that I don't particularly care for that I saw on the show.
Okay.
And I feel like I can do more. I can flex myself more and do more behind the scenes than like possibly being a cast member. Because for me, I really want this to be a quality situation. I want it to be balanced, and I don't think I'm seeing the balance that I want to see.
Okay.
So yeah,
I can understand that.
I have 3 web series that'll be being produced this year.
Oh, word!
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it, or is it just still in the under wraps phase?
So one is kind of an homage to all those 4-part female shows. Like you think Golden Girls, you think Sex and the City, you think Girlfriends. It's kind of like an homage to that.
Okay.
The second one is a series loosely based off of me and my ex-girlfriend, my most recent relationship, and how things probably would have went had we worked out. And then the final one is a bit of a crime drama, and it talks about my time when I was living in New York for 3 years and some of the stuff that I had to do.
Yeah.
To make it.
Wow. This is going to be interesting. I'm excited.
Yes. And all the series are interrelated. Every series is interrelated. You'll see characters from each one popping up in other ones.
Now, you know, it's so funny because I saw you write Never Not Working. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much Mikey. Never not working. Never not working.
I always always wondering, what's next? What do I got to do to keep busy? So, you know, for me right now, I just want to have good people around me, and I want to accomplish great things. And I think having the good people part is the part that's become pretty tricky because you need to have good people in your corner so you can do great things.
Absolutely. So your circle of support is very important.
It's very important. And right now, I feel like I need to fine tune mine, edit a few people out of it. You know,
Control, Alt, Delete. No.
Control, Alt, Delete, and repeat, and block.
Restrict, all those things. Yeah.
I use that block, but I'm done with restrict. If I get to a point to it, that's a midway point. That's foolish. If somebody doing you wrong, you know what I mean, you know good, it's time to get them out your life.
Yeah.
You don't have a place here. That's a slot that can be occupied by somebody who wants it and needs it.
Yeah, you're right about that. About that. Well, I definitely appreciate you stopping by the Scoop on Blogging podcast today. Just, you know, I wanted to introduce you to my audience, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell a little bit more about yourself, because I know that with everyone that I know in media and in blogging and just in the content creation space, everyone brings something special to the table. And that's why I was like, when I want to bring this podcast back, I want to talk to each and every one of them because they all bring something magical to the space.
Yeah, and I appreciate your support. I love we call it our Black media family. It's like I call it my media. Like I really do. I love that me, you, Ray, Kim, like that we're all together. It's really dope. We really support each other, and I love y'all for it. I've learned so much from each and every one of you.
Yeah.
You know, when I came to this, you could have been like, no, I don't know what this is. But y'all each in your own way took me under your wing, and I learned a different type of way to do things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From you, I learned how to market, how to make sure I'm building this website, make sure I'm rephrasing stuff so it can be complete. Another one. Like you taught me a lot of stuff.
Oh, thanks,
watching,
Mikey.
you know, so I really appreciate you. Thank you for being a good friend and a good mentor at the same time. It means a whole lot to me. So much.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate your kind words. And it's just, I appreciate you, you know, and I appreciate what you bring to the space that's just magical and it's just different. You know, we all have our superpowers and we get together and we're kind of like the little Avengers and the Voltron Force and all that other good stuff, you know. So I love it. I love it. And I love what we're doing. And hopefully, you know, there will be a time and a place where we can start coming back out and hitting those carpets and doing those press junkets and doing
my life. I want her back.
Oh, yeah.
I want her back. I will never complain about an event again.
I tell you.
Never.
I tell you.
All right, 2021. Do us right now, Lord. You heard what we want. Make it happen.
Be like, get Jesus on the main line. Ring, ring. About to tell you what I want.
Listen.
You know, so how can people stay connected with you and how can they support you and how can they listen and watch and all that? Run down all the different ways that people can support you.
So you guys can follow me on all social media platforms at Hey Mikey ATL. That's HeyMikeyATL. Everywhere. Check out my website, HeyMikeyATL.com. If you want to reach out to me, you can email me at HeyMikeyATL@gmail.com. If you want to listen to my radio show, all you have to do is go onto WTT Radio's page on Instagram, click the link in the bio, and you'll be able to listen right in. I do my show every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. along with K-Star and Money Ben's app. And as far as web life goes, you guys can go onto YouTube, subscribe to Outpour Media Productions, and get your life there.
And I will make sure, no worries. If you didn't have your pen and paper ready, no worries. I will make sure I have everything linked.
If I unplug this, I'm wrong. So I do have a new position. So I'm the VP of A&R at You Do TV, and it's a fledgling Roku channel.
Wow, so congratulations.
My series it'll be You Do TV Originals. So you guys can also reach me there on YouTube TV. Y'all should subscribe. We got a lot of good stuff coming out for y'all this year. We're trying to be Black Netflix on steroids.
Oh, I like that.
Listen.
Excuse me. I like that. Black Netflix on steroids.
That's the goal.
I like that. I like that. That is fantastic. Congratulations, Mikey, because you said you haven't reached the pinnacle yet because you're still pushing that goalpost back, but you're doing a god-darn great job along the way.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you very much.
I love you too.
And, you know, everybody make sure you continue to support Mikey in any way, shape, or form. And y'all know where to find him. He'll be where the money resides. No. That's all right. That man gonna sue me because I'm gonna keep on saying this, but I just love it. I just love it, love it, love it. It just sums up my plan for 2021. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, Mikey. Have a wonderful day. And thank you all for tuning in and checking out today's podcast.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye, Mikey. Love you.
Love you.